Good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching tonight. I'm Nate Eaton. This is Courtroom Insider. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you're all ready for Valentine's Day. Can't believe it's tomorrow. It's been a really cold week in Idaho Falls, and I think many of us are ready for spring. I was able to get away with my family for a few days. We went to California. I had a good time at Legoland and spent some time at the Great Wolf Lodge. But it's good to be back to work and good to be here tonight on Courtroom Insider. I have a really great conversation here coming up in just a few minutes with Gabby Petito's mother, Nichole Schmidt. I first met Nichole and her husband, Jim Schmidt, at CrimeCon last year, along with Gabby's dad, Joe Petito, and his wife, Tara. And they all arrived together, and they were like all the best of friends. Like, you normally, not normally, sometimes between exes, there's a little bit of animosity, but not here. And I was able to host a panel with them there at CrimeCon. We talked about why it seems in the media coverage that when white girls go missing, they get more publicity than women of color or indigenous women or even men. Even when boys disappear or guys disappear, there seems to be more focus on women. And so we had a panel about that. It was a good discussion. They talked about domestic violence. And then we caught up again with them last fall. And today I was able to interview Nichole, and they're doing so many remarkable things for in Gabby's memory and for domestic violence victims all over the country, the world, really, with their story. And so we're going to have that tonight. And the reason we're doing it now, the reason why it's a little bit timely now is not that we wouldn't do it any other time, but it's timely now because on Monday, Netflix is coming out with a series about this case, about the Gabby Petito story. It's called American Murder, Gabby Petito. This is the latest in a series. They've done some other prominent cases with that same title. And Gabby Petito's parents participated in this. They were able to give suggestions. They're pleased with how it turned out, which is good to hear because sometimes in these particular circumstances, families work on documentaries and it turns out to be different than what they thought. And that's not the case here. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute with Nichole. But before we jump into that, I want to kind of go through a brief timeline of this case. I cannot believe this all happened 3.5 years ago, 2021. And it had ties to Idaho, where we're at, to Idaho Falls, because Gabby Petito's body was found in Wyoming, just about an hour and a half from where we're at right now. And she and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, were in Utah. So there were ties. It kind of stretched across the country. And if you remember, I remember because I'm in news, the coverage was just so intense. I mean, everybody was covering it. Everybody has so many questions about Gabby. And the fact that she was video blogging her trip and active on social media, that added a new component because you could go on and see their journey and see her travels and read about her and see her photographs. So it was a big deal when it happened, when she disappeared. And there are some people, though, that aren't really familiar with the story. So I want to do a brief timeline before we get to the interview with Nichole to get you kind of caught up on what happened in the course of this case. It all started on July 2nd, 2021. That's when Gabby and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, left New York. It was going to be a 4-month cross-country trip, camping trip, and staying in their van, visiting different national parks. And they were going to document it along the way on Instagram accounts and on YouTube. So they take off from New York, and about a month later, on August 12th, Gabby puts a photo on Instagram, on her Instagram account, of her sitting under an arch in Arches National Park in southern Utah. That same day, the police in Moab, Utah, get a 911 call from someone who says he's witnessing a disturbance. And here's that 911 call.
Grant County Sheriff's Office.
Were you able to get a description of the intoxication?
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with a white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's
about
it at?
5'6", beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Okay, you said it's a white van?
White van. I can give you the license plate if you give me 1 sec. I took a picture of it.
What kind of white van? Like a big one?
It was a smaller van with the license plate of, it was white, Florida license plate QFT G03. The make was a Ford, model was Transit, black ladder on the passenger side.
Black ladder, passenger side.
White Ford Transit.
White Ford Transit. And where did so they headed south on Main Street from Moonflower Market?
Correct. They made the right turn.
Also, they went north.
North. Yeah, sorry, I'm not from around here.
Okay, you're right there by the post office?
Right across the street, yep.
Okay, and when they turned onto Main Street, they went right or left?
Right.
Right, so they went north. North on Main. All right, I will let somebody know. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
Thanks.
So that's the call. The police are able to track down Gabby and Brian. She's very distraught. Laundry and Brian and Gabby told the officers that they are in love and that they're engaged. They don't want to see anybody charged with a crime. Here, we after the fact, we were able to get some of the video, which is featured in the Netflix documentary, but we were able to get some of that police footage, and here's just a clip of their interaction with Gabby.
Is this your husband or boyfriend?
My fiance.
Fiance? Is he a pretty good guy?
Yeah.
What happened over at Moonflower?
Well, I was just really stressed this morning trying to get a lot of work done, and I was apologizing to him. I had thrown a bunch of stuff in the bag, and all our bags are back there, and I was just apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry that I get so stressed out because I have OCD, and I was just like organizing stuff, and sometimes I just have a mean attitude, but I'm not trying to be mean about just straightening things up and stuff, so I was just apologizing, but I guess I said it in like a mean tone, and he got really frustrated with me, and he locked me out of the car and told me to go take a breather, but I didn't want to take a breather, because I wanted to get going. We're out of water.
So it kind of made you more upset.
Yeah,
it didn't help calm you, it made you more upset.
Yeah. And,
so then what happened?
And, so our goal was to come here and come refill our water.
Are you guys living out of the van right now? On travels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just really...
So what happened after he locked you out? I told you to take a breather.
Well, he walked away to go take his own breather, but I wanted to sit in the car because all my stuff was in the car. I had none of my bags. I was working on something at the moment in the car, and he told me to just relax for a second, and I didn't want to relax, so I got really mad. And, I mean, I don't need to be mad.
Yeah, it happens. Then what happened?
And then I told him to drive and get water because I was really thirsty.
Yeah? Is there something on your cheek here? Looks like, did you get hit in the face? Kind of looks like something like hit you in the face.
I don't know.
And then over on your arm, shoulder, right here. That's new, huh? It's kind of a new mark.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Can I see the other side of your face? So, what happened here and here?
I'm not sure. It was really fast. I was just trying to get in the back of the car and his backpack was on the back.
So Brian Laundrie reportedly told the officers that the two of them had been arguing over the past few days and it just built up. So he was not taken to jail or anything. That happened on August 12th. August 19th, they publish a video. It's 8 minutes. It's called Van Life, Beginning Our Van Life Journey. It shows them kissing, scaling rocks, laughing at how the sun in Utah had melted the chocolate in Mr. Laundrie's granola. And in the video, Gabby said, "I love the van," smiling at Brian. And these videos will be, many of them, shown in the docuseries. So that happened on August 19th. A few days later, August 23rd, 24th, around that time, Jim Schmidt, Gabby's stepdad, said that he and Nichole FaceTimed with Gabby. And that was the last time that they FaceTimed with her. He said that Gabby told them that they were leaving Utah and on their way to Grand Teton National Park. Gabby texted a few times to her mom after that, and the last post on her Instagram account was published on August 25th of 2021. So they've left New York, they're working their way, they make their way to Utah, the domestic violence issue is called in, the police respond, then Gabby and Brian begin to work their way up to our neck of the woods, up to the Wyoming area where Grand Teton National Park is. On August 30th, so about 5 or 6 days after they FaceTimed with her, Gabby sends a message, a text, according to the New York Post, to Nichole, and it says, "No service in Yosemite." The next day, 2 days later, September 1st, Brian Laundrie returns to his house in Florida in the white van that he and Gabby were in, and Gabby's not with him. This is the trip of why would you return home? He returns home by himself, drives from here to Florida, which is, a long drive. September 11th, Gabby's family report her missing. And then on September 15th, the police come out and they say that Brian Laundrie is a person of interest. He was the last known person to have seen Gabby before she disappeared. The chief of the North Point Police, Todd Garrison, posts a plea on Twitter addressing Brian's attorney, asking him to arrange a conversation with Laundrie. Brian Laundrie's attorney has told him not to talk to the cops. And a news conference is held. And here's part of that news conference.
She maintained regular contact with her family members during her travels. However, that communication abruptly stopped around the end of August. Gabby is a vibrant 22-year-old with a love for life and adventure. She's a daughter, a sister, and a granddaughter. She was excited to share her cross-country trek with others on social media and with her family. Gabby's family and those in the community here and in New York who know and care for her are hoping for answers about her whereabouts.
What I need from everybody here is help, because the goal is still not met, and that goal is to bring Gabby home safe, all right? And I'm asking for help from everyone here. I'm asking for help everyone at home. I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian, and I'm asking for help of the family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well. There is a tip line that you can call anonymously. Whatever you can do to make sure my daughter comes home, I'm asking for that help. There's nothing else that matters to me now. This girl right here, this is what matters. That is it. Anything else, it comes second to this.
Within that week, within a few days, the chief of police says that Brian is continuing to exercise his right not to speak to investigators, his right to remain quiet, but they're treating the case at that point as a missing persons case. So that's September 16th. That's when another news conference is held, and Joe Petito, Gabby's dad, reads a letter. Not just Joe, but Nichole was there, Tara, Jim, they're all there, and they make a plea directly to Brian Laundrie's parents. And they beg them to reveal where Brian left Gabby. Now think in your mind at this point, you don't know where your daughter is. You know that her boyfriend's left the area where they were and gone to his house. So now they're appealing to the parents. And here is part of that letter.
Christopher and Rebecca Laundrie, we are writing this letter to ask you to help find our daughter. We understand you are going through a difficult time and your instinct is strong to protect your son. We ask you to put yourselves in our shoes. We haven't been able to sleep or eat, and our lives are falling apart. We believe you know the location of where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us. As a parent, How could you let us go through this pain and not help us? As a parent, how could you put Gabby's younger brothers and sisters through this? Gabby lived with you for over a year. She's going to be your daughter-in-law. How can you keep her location hidden? You were both at Jim and Nichole's house. You were both so happy that Brian and Gabby got engaged and were planning to spend their lives together. Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. All we want is for Gabby to come home. Please help us make that happen. And that was from Jim Schmidt, Nichole Schmidt, Joe Petito, and Tara Petito.
September 17th, Brian Laundrie's parents call the police and say they don't know where their son is, and they have not seen him since September 14th, so 3 days earlier. On September 18th, the North Point police announced they're searching a reserved 25,000-acre park 13 miles from Northport for Brian Laundrie, because his family said that they believed that he had entered the area earlier that week. Meanwhile, the FBI is searching Grand Teton National Park. If you've been to Grand Teton National Park, you know just how remote it is. It is so remote, and it could be very hard to find a missing person. In fact, there's a man who's still missing that we've been covering for, 3 years now. He vanished about 3 or 4 years ago, and he's never been found. They assume he vanished in the park. On September 19th, a news conference is held. And I remember it was a Sunday. That's when police say that they found remains in a national forest in Wyoming, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. They said that they needed a full forensic identification to actually 100% confirm that it is her. But here is part of that news conference.
Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time. We appreciate your continued support and patience as we work through this process.
So Gabby is found on the 19th. Everybody's pretty sure it's Gabby. They're not able to 100% confirm it. The next day, federal agents serve a search warrant at Brian Laundrie's home related to the investigation. And then the following day, the police, or the coroner in Teton County, Wyoming, is able to confirm that those remains found in the Wyoming were indeed those of Gabby Petito. After they confirm that the remains are Gabby's, a search warrant, or I guess I should say a federal arrest warrant in Wyoming is unsealed for Brian Laundrie, charging him with debit card fraud. Authorities didn't say whether that debit card belonged to Gabby. You're probably thinking, well, why wouldn't they charge him with murder? Or why wouldn't they charge him with, disposing of a body or something like that? Well, they're going to go with something they can to get him into custody if they can find him. And the felony debit card fraud will be able to get him in custody, and then you can build the case. They didn't have enough evidence, I would imagine at the time, they didn't have enough evidence to full on charge him with murder. Plus, they couldn't find him. They didn't know where the guy was. So they charged him with debit card fraud. On October 12th, the coroner said that Gabby Petito died of strangulation.
After a detailed investigation by our forensic pathologist, our anthropologist, and local law enforcement, with assistance from the FBI, the Teton County Coroner's Office is following the following verdict. In the manner of death of Gabrielle Lenora Petito, we find the cause and manner to be death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, only the cause and manner of death are released. Their autopsy findings and photographs and that sort of material is not released by state statute.
So now we fast forward to October 20th, about a month since Gabby Petito was found. It was on October 20th that authorities in Florida announced that human remains were found in that reserve that they were searching. Heavily wooded park. The remains were found near a notebook and a backpack that belonged to Brian Laundrie. The FBI said they were going to use, quote, all available forensic resources to process the scene. And the next day, dental records confirmed that those remains were indeed Brian Laundrie. On November 23rd, a month later, the medical examiner's office confirmed that Brian Laundrie died by suicide, a gunshot wound to the head. And then the following January, the FBI disclosed that a notebook found near his body, it included statements in which he claimed responsibility. The investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito, the special agent from the FBI field office said in a statement. So that is the timeline of events. And next week, on Monday, Netflix will release a 3-part series called American Murder, Gabby Petito. And here's a trailer. Quite the docuseries to watch. There's new information, there's new video, and as I mentioned, Gabby's family participated in the production of that docuseries. So with all of that buildup now, and hopefully you're caught up to date on the case, I want to jump over to my interview with Nichole Schmidt. This is Gabby Petito's mother. So Nichole, tell me a little bit about why you guys decided to participate with this American Murder, Gabby Petito documentary.
Well, first of all, I want to say originally we did not know the title. We didn't know what that was going to be. So
it's kind of a bold title.
It's a little bold, but I understand it's a catchy title. However, we really just wanted to tell our story from our perspective. And I have to say it was done beautifully, and I'm proud that we did it. And it's just really to help as many people as possible.
I was speaking with another family who has been through a horrible tragedy that I've covered over the years. And she messaged me and said, I really appreciate that Gabby Petito's parents are turning their horrific tragedy into something positive and speaking out. And she was trying to find purpose in what they have gone through. How have you guys been able to do that?
I think, by doing these projects, by constantly talking about Gabby's story, because other people can align with that story so well, it really inspires people, whether it's to get out of a bad relationship or maybe recognizing signs of domestic violence. We want to also help families through the process of missing a loved one, because that's a scary process. So what we went through, it was horrific. But we have the experience, and we can use that to help as many people as we can. And I hope it's saving lives. I do get a lot of emails it makes us feel really good when we hear positive things from people because of what we're doing. So that's why we keep going.
And one of the things you're doing is, you mentioned the raising awareness of domestic violence. Like right now you are traveling, you're on the road. Are you speaking at an event about this issue?
Yes, we're actually at a Be the Difference conference. It's run by the Denise Amber Lee Foundation, as well as the Healthy Dispatcher. It's a conference of 911 dispatchers, and it's important for them to know who's on the other end of that call, to remind them that there's real human situations, and the choices we make and mistakes can be made. People's lives are at stake. So it's just a little reminder about their why. And so I did come and I told Gabby's story to them, and just to give them a little, remember why you're doing what you're doing. And they're all so amazing. They're heroes in my eyes.
Tell me what people can expect when they turn on this documentary when it comes out in a few days.
Well, when you watch the documentary, you're going to see some new information, some things that you haven't seen before. They did a beautiful job of highlighting Gabby's footage and bringing in some scenes that were like kind of behind the scenes from what we see on social media. And I think people are going to be impressed, and I hope that it touches people in a way that makes them feel like they're not alone. And this is a reminder that Gabby was a real person, not just a story behind the headline. And that's why we were involved, so we could just remind them of that. So I'm proud of it. I think people are going to enjoy it.
You mentioned the headlines. I mean, there were so many headlines, still are, obviously, now. And that's one of the issues that when a loved one goes missing, people don't really know how to deal with the media. And you guys had it, tenfold, I'm sure. How did you decide how to communicate and keep your daughter's story out there while she was still missing, but also not run yourself ragged saying yes to every interview request and every, call that you get from bloggers and YouTubers? How did you wade through all that?
Well, I learned a lot throughout the process. While Gabby was missing, we did talk to anyone and everyone because, when your loved one, especially your child, is missing, you want their face out there. You want people to find them. So I would say now I've learned a lot of lessons through that, and you should really be careful who you talk to. Things can go the wrong way, or you could talk to the wrong people. But I have to say, in our case, we were very, very blessed. And the media, people like you, Nate, you guys have been amazing to us. And we hope that we can help people, help people through the process of dealing with the media and the frenzy that happens when someone goes missing.
We first met at CrimeCon a few years ago, and I was struck, as was my wife, how close you are with your ex, who's Gabby's dad, and his wife. You and her were hanging out, Tara were hanging out, and the guys were golfing. And has that always been the case, or has this tragedy made you all closer?
We are definitely closer now after everything happened. We were never not friends. We weren't this close. Now we see each other constantly. I talk to Tara every day. I probably talk to her more than Jim. And the guys find out information from us. So it's a great dynamic. We couldn't do it without each other.
Jim is your husband for people that.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you plan to do going forward with the foundation, the Gabby Petito Foundation?
Well, we have big dreams, but right now we're going to be relaunching a website that is adding in the Gabby Petito Alliance, which we've formed to bring training and education to people. And it's really a hub. It's not just our own trainings, but we're bringing in, trusted people that we've gotten to know, organizations that have amazing resources, and hopefully people can come to our website and find what they need. And we can guide them to the right place for what they're looking for, because it's so important to educate yourself and your community. There's so much we can all do as regular community members and learn how to be good bystanders and such. So yeah, we're excited. And, Jim is training, my husband, Jim, is training first responders about the signs of domestic violence and strangulation. So we have a lot in the works and a lot more, but we're really excited.
And he is a first responder. He's a firefighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you all gone back and traced Gabby's route, the route she was taking, across the country? Some people like to go there and see where they've been and where she was discovered, or do you have any desire to do that? That's
a great question. I haven't been asked that. So we have been to the spot in Wyoming where she was found. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. The Tetons are gorgeous. I was really just in awe of the beauty. I do want to take a trip. I think all of us are trying to figure out when we can get this going, because we want to do it as a family. All the parents, all the siblings, we want to get maybe a couple RVs and head up the path and just kind of hit all the spots that she did, because it would be amazing to experience all that.
Mm-hmm. And knowing you guys, it would be a fun trip, not a trip. There'd be some sadness, but you'd also make it fun.
Yes. Steve, would you like to say hi?
Yeah, is Jim's hiding in the background?
No, this is Kat, my daughter.
Oh, well.
He's kind of like, what are you doing?
Hey, Nichole, what do you want people to know about Gabby that we might not know?
Well, I feel like we did a really good job at, just letting people know she was just an amazing free spirit, artistic, loved traveling. What you might not know about her is that she was feisty, and she would stick up for people that were being maybe mean to another person, and she would stick up for that person. She was a really good friend and a good bystander. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you want to add?
I like to let people remember that tomorrow is not promised. So be a good person, be good to your loved ones, take the pictures, take the trips, life is short, so live it to the fullest, really.
Yeah, what a great message. Please give my best to all of your family, and thank you for chatting with me. And I look forward to seeing the documentary. Does it come out Monday?
Yes.
Monday.
Yeah.
All right. And have you seen it?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. And that's
we think it was done very, very nice. Of course, I wish there was a lot more they could have put in there, but they had to cut out a lot because of time constraints.
right.
But it's beautiful. Gabby is I think she'd be proud of it. So
Is it all one, or is it broken up into a series?
3 episodes. They're about 40 minutes each. It looks beautiful. I think you'll enjoy it. So
Okay.
hopefully you and the wife can cry together.
Yes, we will. And we want to get you to Idaho somehow after these trials in
Yeah.
March, April, May, whenever, and then Koberger's in the fall. Somehow we've got to get you out here, and I'm going to send this interview to first responder people around here and domestic violence organizations, and it'd be great to have you come and visit.
That'd be amazing.
Well, hopefully you can tell just how cool of a person Nichole is there, along with her husband Jim and Gabby's dad Joe and his wife Tara. Just really good folks. And if you've had the chance to go to CrimeCon, they've been there the past few, and you've been able to meet them, and hopefully you've been able to meet them and at least hear from them. And it's amazing what they're doing in their daughter's memory. And look forward to watching the docuseries when it drops on Monday on Netflix. Thank you very much for watching tonight. We'll be back next week, next Thursday, for another Courtroom Insider. There's a bunch of different cases I'm looking at, and I'd love to hear what you are interested in. Of course, we'll continue to follow the Lori Vallow trial in Arizona, the case that's coming up like in a month from now. I can't believe it, a little over a month, when her jury trial begins for the death of her 4th husband, Charles Vallow. Also, Bryan Kohberger. There might be some new developments next week. There were some little ones, I guess, or at least some new developments that came out this past week that we'll talk about next week about DNA and whatnot associated with his case, along with other interesting cases that are happening around the country. Here's how you can keep in touch with me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Insta, I'm on YouTube and Twitter/X. And that's where you can find me if you want to keep up to date on everything happening that I'm covering. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can do that. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's. Hope you're spending it with people you love. Hope you're able to go out and give love to everybody who you meet. The right kind of love, obviously. And thank you for watching. I'm Nate Eaton. This has been Courtroom Insider. Have a good night.